now that you actually mentioned the whole hand thing, also in that house
Yeah.
that my parents built, there were odd things that now and then happen, like the hand thing. I was like heavily depressed.
Of course.
And like I said, I spend most of my time in that office writing and stuff. Obviously, if things didn't go right, I'd end up crying in that room too.
Of course.
I remember one time, I also, like, on my hip area, I felt a hand touch me there. And I was like, okay, I'm not crying anymore. I remember also, now and then I'd cry or something, and then I'd feel a hand on my shoulder.
Yeah.
But it was like weird things like that. Also, I think it was the same night I was playing that Phantom Opera game.
Yeah.
And I think I left my light on. I left it on because I'm like, I am scared. It is cold. I don't trust this.
Yes, no, I feel you. I did that too.
So I left the light on. I went to bed. Wookiees with me. Everything. I'm like, okay. I'm kind of okay. It was also kind of creepy, that top area, because the areas weren't totally full, the rooms.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be kind of like an attic kind of thing, but it's not an attic. It's a room blocked off.
Yeah.
But if you just moved the board, the walls were like boards.
Okay.
If you just moved them, you're in the fucking roof.
Okay.
It was terrifying because you'd hear things in the roof.
So was it like drywalling or?
Yes. Because, like, even if I opened up, like, one cupboard, I could just climb into the roof.
Oh, wait, that's pretty cool, though.
It's scary.
It's scary, but it's pretty cool.
So, yeah, like, not only am I terrified of my room, but also because of this whole ceiling thing and everything.
Yeah.
And, so I think it was that night, like I said, I left light on everything, I got Wookie with me. It's cold, but I've got my blanket on, like, I'm freezing, I don't want to go downstairs, I don't want to ask for another blanket, nothing.
Yeah.
I woke up that morning, light was switched off, the hoodie was pulled over me. The hoodie was just over me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Now, at night you could hear things walking around.
Yeah.
Especially walking up the stairs, coming to my room.
Yeah.
I could tell the difference between my dad and my mom walking.
No, you can. I know that. Yeah.
And I was like, my parents are not coming upstairs.
Yeah.
And like you hear this and you're like, cool, blankets up over your head.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing someone walking at night. Walking up the stairs that night.
Yeah.
So I don't remember my parents coming. I even asked them like last night, like, hey, did you come to my room? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do that.
Yeah, it's irregular for them.
Yeah. But the light was switched off and there was a hoodie covering me.
Yeah.
It was just odd.
Yeah.
Odd little things like the hands and everything. It was just odd little things. Yeah.
Something weird though. When you mentioned the Burwillow type stuff.
Yeah.
So, my one ex, she told me this story. She was sleeping with her curtains open, and she woke up late at night, and outside the window she saw like a old timey nurse with like the bonnet and everything, and it creeped the shit out of her. So she went out the next day, and to see, hey, it's quite like the house is really raised up.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was standing and looking through the window, seeing this whole person, means this person had to be, huge, really tall, because there was literally no way she could. There was like this. It was huge. It was so weird. There was no way she could have. She had to be standing on top of like a chair or something. But also one night, I was there, and her cat went underneath her ping pong table, and it just hisses, and so me and her went outside to smoke.
Yeah.
And after she finished smoking, we went back inside. We saw, well, at least I think she saw it, not me. A book flew off her shelf, and so did one of my Xenomorph action figures. It still got the crack on its dome.
Yeah.
From that, which was awful. I think the head actually broke off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I actually glued the head back on that one. Which is why it doesn't swivel anymore.
Yeah.
Very scary. Very scary. But that whole house was terrifying. And I don't want to even get into that. Because there's so much horrible things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
I don't know what or why. There's some reason I couldn't use the main house's bathroom.
Mm.
At this point, the flat and the main house are connected with that room.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, you gotta use the flat's bathroom."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to. Because at this point, I'm terrified of the flat.
Yeah.
And at this point, my dad has also turned the flat into his, like, Star Wars
Of course.
everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, fine, if I have to. So I grab Wookie and I'm like, cool, let's just go bath quickly.
Yeah.
So we close the door, everything. I run the bath, get in, and I'm probably, I don't want to say I'm in my early teens or something. Maybe I think it was, but
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get done as quickly as possible. I'm like, something is bad.
Yeah.
And then Wookie starts freaking out, and she's like looking at the toilet area. She's screaming, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, why is my cat screaming?
Yeah.
And then the toilet paper starts unwinding,
Oh
like
my
unrolling.
God.
Literally. It starts, like, literally, so quickly, unrolling.
Oh my God.
She's screaming, I start screaming. My dad, like, kind of like, what the fuck? And I'm like, dude! He sees it, and then it stops. I'm like, no, you stand there, I'm finishing.
Shit.
It was scary.
That's very scary.
But Wookie, she was gone. She like, cheers.
Yeah, no, I would too. Jesus Christ.
It was just, I don't know if you've ever had something like that.
Not like that. I think the closest thing to that was like literally my grandmother's sewing machine
Yeah.
just starting rapidly. Starting to sew. Oh my God.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah. Back to the whole sleepwalking thing. Is I remember when, so we used to live in Jeffreys Bay.
Yeah.
And after we lived in Jeffreys Bay, I don't really have that many memories of us living in Jeffreys Bay for some reason, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But after we lived there, we moved to the farm where my aunt was living in Natal, just outside of Lleshlui.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Haha. Anyway, so, yeah, basically, it was a huge farmhouse.
Yeah.
Like, all my aunt's kids were living in separate rooms in the houses on the farm.
Yeah.
And so me and my brother were staying in one room on the one side of the house. And so you had to... So I ended up sleepwalking one night. I can't remember how or when, or obviously you don't remember sleepwalking.
Yeah.
But I woke up inside my aunt's study on this. There's books and stuff on the bed, and there's just the whole bed is full of stuff. They used it for storage. It was literally her office.
Yeah.
And so it's quite a walk to get into that office. Like, you have to go through the whole house. You have to go through the kitchen, the dining area, and then some to get there, past like all these rooms. And I just woke up and I was like, where am I? I had no idea where I was. And yeah, later on, me and my brother actually ended up sharing the room right next to that, weirdly enough. Yeah. It was just odd because, yeah, we used to see the weirdest things. Like, late at night, I was watching Cartoon Network. I think I was watching, like, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, like, 12 at night. And my aunt's cat comes in, and I just hear hissing and fighting sounds. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Edie? And this cat was fighting a snake.
Oh.
And I just scream.
Oh.
And everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And so my uncle comes in and he's like, oh God, there's a snake. So they end up catching the snake and they just go take it outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, very scary. And the next day, I don't know if it was a bad omen or something, but my aunt or my mom was making eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
and one of the eggs she cracked open was a blood egg. Like, it was blood red.
Oh.
And yeah, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. It had like parts of the baby chicken, like the fetus and everything still in it.
Yeah.
And that was very weird for us. Because my aunt believed in all these things.
Mm.
My aunt was very, she's a lot like me, I think.
Mm.
Very artsy, and just, that's also why I think I got more into art, was because of my grandmother and my aunt.
Yeah.
And every time we used to go there, she'd paint my face to look like whatever I wanted. Like, you know, back in, I can't remember what cartoon it was, but they had like these broccoli soldiers.
Oh, wasn't that also Grim?
No, I think it was like Powerpuff Girl type.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Powerful. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
These broccoli aliens.
Yeah, I remember that.
She like turned me into like stuff like that, and it's like, I loved it.
I remember that episode because they had to eat the broccoli.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And yeah, no, it's just stuff like that end up in. And one day the house just caught fire. We don't know why.
The hell?
I think maybe the TV or something exploded or something. And yeah. But also something very weird that happened on that farm was one day my uncle took us for a drive.
Mm.
And we were driving around the farm, and we stopped by this tree.
Mm.
And it's this very old tree. It looks like it's straight out of a horror movie.
Mm.
Because there's a piece of rope hanging from it. It's like this very old orange. What's the? It's got like all the fibers and stuff. It's been there for a while.
Yeah.
So it turns out one of the workers actually hung himself on the tree, and the rope was just left there.
Mm.
And I can see this rope and this tree in my head when I close my eyes right now. Like, I can still see it. Yeah, very, very scary place.
Yeah.
But actually there was either a leopard or something that used to roam there as well.
Yeah.
And the Discovery Channel actually came to catch it, which is very cool.
Oh.
This was before I lived there.
Okay.
But the Discovery Channel actually came there and they caught the thing.
Mm.
And they took it. Yeah, very cool. Very random, but very cool.
They came to catch a leopard?
Yeah, they came to catch the leopard to take it to like a proper place.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was killing the animals and stuff that was living on the farm.
Yeah.
Which wasn't good. And yeah.
You can't be like, oh, let's tame the kitty.
Yeah, no. But my aunt used to rescue a bunch of animals and stuff, and you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, she sounds good.
Very cool lady.
Yeah.
Way back, and she was still alive.
Mm. That's cool.
Yeah. But no, back to. I'm sorry for interrupting,
No,
but you can
No.
continue your thing.
So after my parents got divorced, we moved to a townhouse. It's close to Prilla, but it's also, you know where that petrol station is across the army?
Oh yeah.
It was like literally that turn off kind of thing. You go past the petrol station, you turn off eventually.
Oh yeah.
It was like hidden kind of thing. I don't know what the area's name is. But we.
Jan Pienaar.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. So we lived there because it was like, okay, that's, I guess, the most next.
Weird, because I also live close by.
We've been so many places near each other, but like, anyway.
Weird.
So my brother and I, we don't know if something followed us from the house.
Yeah.
But there was just a lot of shadow people.
Oh no.
Yeah, so there was like the lounge, then one time I was at therapy, my brother got to choose the rooms, he chose the big room, I got this office tiny little room.
Same.
Yeah, so I had this little tiny room that was in the lounge kind of thing, next to the lounge. And there was this, across it was this mirror.
Yeah.
Long wall-length mirror.
Yeah.
Next was the bathroom, next was my mother's and my brother's room. Like,
yeah.
My brother said he would see things in the mirror. He'd see the shadow person kind of thing.
Oh my god.
And I'd also like now and then see someone like, oh god, I just like pretend like I'm not seeing this.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd walk past and then there's clearly like a face imprint in the mirror. Or like a man's hand in the mirror. My brother's like, he's a kid still at this point. There's no way he was touching the mirrors.
Yeah.
So it was just weird. I think my mom got it, our friend to come cleanse it and was like, oh, everything. But the stuff still carried on.
Of course.
Eventually we did move to next to Happy Valley.
Yeah.
We all know Happy Valley is...
Yeah, pretty... It's got a dark history.
Yeah. So we moved to a complex at Happy Valley. And there, we think everything else followed us there.
Of course.
And between my brother and I, we had also a mirror separating us.
Yeah.
And that mirror was just hectic. It was worse than the previous mirror.
I know.
You'd constantly see things. I was cleaning that mirror all the time.
Yeah.
You'd see faces, you'd see handprints, and it was just horrible.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was like a skeletal kind of face, and you're like,
Yeah.
I think in that room as well, I was in that room for a very long time. We were there for a year or 3, I think.
Yeah.
So I spent quite a long time in that house, complex townhouse thing.
Yeah.
At night in the room I was in, I hated it because I could just hear movement in my room. It was bad to a point where I actually had to move my bed against the wall so that I could have my back to the wall and keep my eye.
Yeah.
But from there, I kind of developed this thing where something actually one night, it felt like something had touched my head and no one was there.
Yeah.
Wookie was by my feet or something. And I remember as well something clearly said my name in the room.
Yeah.
No one was there.
Yeah.
So from there I kind of developed this thing, was like, okay, back to the wall so you can keep your eyes there.
You can see what's happening.
But I also kind of developed this thing, was like, okay, I'm wearing a hoodie no matter how hot it is. I cover my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see this shit.
Yeah.
That's why, like, even like how we've got our stuff arranged, I don't like huge spaces. I always face the open area. I can't handle.
Yeah.
I think it's because of that. And I think it's also why that whole bathroom scenario is why I don't like bathrooms.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Got that the shining Danny Torrance vibe.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so that's why I have certain like ways I will sleep.
Yeah.
Do
No,
things.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Same with me, but you know, I just help you accommodate you, especially with the whole room.
Yeah.
I'm see, stuff does kind of scare me a little bit sometimes, but I've grown more used to it. Also, especially with the protection symbols, sigils, trinkets, and meditations that I do, I feel a lot safer. And the whole guardian, let's call it a guardian angel, guardian spirit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They do exist, and I do believe whatever is protecting me is quite strong.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really that scared of stuff anymore.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah. Something super random that I just remembered is the house close to the graveyard where I used to live. So I remember one night, my dad was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so the kitchen's light you turn off by the kitchen door, and you have to walk through the dark kitchen into the hallway and then go to the room.
Yeah.
So my dad turns the light off. He's halfway through the kitchen. He's almost in the hallway. The light goes back on again. And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So he just goes back, turns the light off, and comes back to the room. Everything's fine, and then he's like, "That was super weird."
Yeah.
Next day he tells us, and I'm like, "Whoa. This feels a lot like the stuff that was happening in my room with my PC turning on constantly."
Yeah.
Very weird stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very weird stuff.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Scary.